Okay, daar sien ek jou nou.
Kan jy my hoor?
Ek hoor jou, ja.
Okay, ons gaan al so 2 minute, dan gaan ons aan die gang.
Wat sê my nog doen?
Hy is nog op.
Ek wil nog hom gestuur om ons te gaan teert kry.
Hey, coachie.
Ek sien Mr. Manuel is maar Eden vanaand. Wat gaan aan, jong?
Dit is ek is die mekaar deur my kind se login details en my login details dis 'n kraak.
Okay, nee, is goed om jou te sien, Mr. Manuel.
Dankie, Wilwe.
Okay, we're gonna get going, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to webinar number 8. Or actually, yeah, it's number 8. So as I state every week, the whole idea was started with amateur coaches just to educate ourselves during this lockdown period. And tonight we want to try something new with a Q&A with I think someone that needs no introduction, but we're going to introduce him later, and then we're going to conduct the Q&A. But before I do that, I'd like to acknowledge someone tonight that contributes to the success of these webinars. It's a guy from the Overberg, and he's got a small little company called Alexar Digital Solutions. And I think during these times, these tough times, it's good to acknowledge and appreciate these people that contribute to something like a webinar in order to make it free. So I want to acknowledge Alex tonight, and so what Alex does is he does all our posters for our events. He does they refer to that as digital marketing, so he can design posters, design booklets. Then he also designs websites, and then he came up with an excellent deal for coaches and clubs that want to make use of them. So during the lockdown, they can have 15% discount if they use the following name when the email or the following password is Think Digital, and it's one word. So you'll get 15% discount if you make use of his service and you're part of tonight's webinar. And then also you'll support the webinars as we go along. So that's for that part. So as I said earlier, we're going to try something new. It's not our traditional way of doing things. So what will happen is I'll pose a few questions to Coach Devi for about the first 30 minutes, and I've received questions via email and on Twitter as well. And then I'll open questions for the floor, depends on where we end up. We're very informal, so the only thing that we require is to maybe mute your mic just to minimize the background noise. But then I also want to acknowledge a few people that joined us for the first time. I saw Coach Zan from Marty's Netball here, and then former Protea spinner Paul Adams, who's currently a coach as well, and then Andre Pretorius winning the World Cup in 2007, and Albert van der Berg as well, that joined us tonight. Then a special welcome to Mr. David Manuel as well, all the way from Pretoria. He's also joining us, so we got a few new faces, and then we've got I see Coach Warren is back from the UK as well. Welcome to you. And then, yeah, I think the guy that everyone wants to listen to tonight is Coach Peter. So he doesn't normally like when people introduce him. So I'm going to get straight into it, and we're going to speak about. So tonight the focus is really to speak about him as a coach and what skills that he can learn someone from a coaching perspective. We're not going to delve into tactics and technical stuff, just the coach. And I think that's sometimes what we neglect in our coaching education in South Africa and worldwide. So Coach, all the way from Paul, welcome. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. I am doing well. I'm resting, and then when I'm done, I'm resting again, and now I'm resting.
Thanks for that, Coach. Thank you. It's nice to have you here. So I actually went on to my calendar now, and I see it's your birthday next week. So you're turning 36 next year, if I'm correct.
36. Yeah.
36, yeah.
I'm
36.
actually at the moment 40, but I'm 40, but for 4 years I was a bit ill, and I didn't have birthday. So yeah, we keep it at 36.
Okay, so we want to wish you in advance for that as well, Coach. So you've got a long history with coaching, and I think you've opened the pathway for a lot of coaches in South Africa, with your style and your uniqueness. And I think you're one of the coaches that are quite approachable. And sometimes when people get coached at the highest level, they don't become approachable anymore. And you're always willing to assist. And I'm speaking from my personal background with you and connection with you. You're always there to mentor. You're always there to support. Always a phone call away or WhatsApp away, and you would just want to assist. And I think that's part of who you are and part of your DNA. So we're going to get away with what motivated Peter de Villiers to become a coach.
Yeah, being a teacher for 20 years, I learned that when you work with people, you work with something that's not fixed, something that has a different way of getting up the next day, and something that's emotional ups and downs can actually throw everything in disarray for you. If you plan something, and although the body is there, although the guy that comes and rocks up for your practice might not be the guy that you do see, and those are the things that taught me, if I want to become a successful coach, I need to understand what and who I'm working with, what is his best attributes that he can make, use it to the best of his ability for the good of the team. And then when you want to teach him something that's outside of his skills range, take that time away from the game to do it, so that he doesn't lose confidence in himself and in the ways that we coach.
Okay, so you've got a teaching background. So how did being a teacher assist you with becoming a coach, and how did the principles of teaching and the role of a teacher assist you in becoming a coach?
Yeah, I think that was my best learning school. That is the way life goes. I always wanted to be a coach, and then I became a teacher. I didn't know why, but after 20 years, I understood why. After 20 years, I understood that becoming a teacher first taught me how to work with people, to understand people, and to get the best out of people. So yeah, I think that was my best learning curve. That was the first thing. The second thing that learned me so much about rugby is a few coaches that I worked with who taught me how not to coach. And I see this is the trend today in our game, that we copy so much that we don't know how to coach anymore. And what we need to make a mind shift in the new modern game is the fact that we must understand it's professional. And if you don't understand the term professional, you can't be professional. And most of the guys think because they've been paid, they are professional. To be professional is something that should be in your DNA. You need to understand yourself. You need to know who you are, and you need to know where you can be. And then to be professional is to work with what is available for you to make it the best for the team, for the individual, and for yourself. And the last thing that I learned in teaching, if you don't find joy for yourself in teaching, you can't make the players happy. So the first person you have to make happy is yourself. And if you're happy, the vibes that you release when you work with people, it is wow. I'm telling you now, immeasurable. You can't measure the fact how great they become.
Okay, Coach. We're going to move on to, and I want to take a couple of things from your response. We've been busy for about 6 minutes. You never spoke about a rugby player. You spoke about people the whole time. Why is that so important for you?
Because rugby players aren't born. People are born. So you first become a person in life, and then you go through all those things in life that form you, transform you, and give you the opportunities to become mad at yourself, become mad at other people, to learn from yourself, to learn from other people. And when you make decisions, and one of those decisions is to become a musician, you're still a person who became a musician. If you decide to become a rugby player, then you are still a person who became a rugby player. And being that rugby player is so important that you understand you're working with a person. And the rugby player, if you make the person happy, if you find out what is his problems and you solve his problems and you give him the next opportunity and level in his life, the rugby player will soon follow the person.
Yeah, and then you make a reference to high performance coaching and that we struggle with operating organization in a high performance environment, or we struggle in creating a high performance environment. Can you just elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah, I think that is the heartbeat of coaching, especially professional team. Where people get lost, they find themselves working their butts off, being tactical, and then they forget how to be a person in those stuff. People go and they think if they know how to scrum, they're a good coach. If they know how to coach lineouts, if you know how to coach a back line, running into space, running into gaps, running off the shoulder, creating opportunities for other people, then they think they're a good coach. No, you're not a very good coach then. You're a good coach if you understand the mind of firstly yourself and then the mind of the players. And that is what is high performance is all about, coaching is all about. Firstly, you need to get the guy who can do something to want to do that over and over and over again, so that it can become second nature to the person next to him. So there should be no mood swings. And if you do understand those things, then you can work with a person, and then you can actually form them to be a team who work off each other, who work for each other, and understand what their role is in the country, the community, in their house, wherever they are. The same role that they play in their immediate environment must be the role that they play in a bigger environment. An international scene is nothing different to your house. If you can't, in your own space, create an international scene, then it will be difficult for you to operate in that area. That is why high performance coaching is so important. It's so important for the player, it's so important for the coach, because both, if they are on the same level, if you look at your rugby team and you look at the physique of the players, you can see backline players normally don't have the power and the bulk of the forwards, and the other way around. So if you put out their tackle counts, and if you put out all those kind of things, you lose most of your players, or you create monsters, and then you can't work with your players anymore. So high performance coaching to me is the most important thing that you can understand to become a better coach. Luckily for me, I did understand that before I coached under 19, under 21, and went to the Springboks. I understood it. It's tough for other people to understand it because it's a new concept first, and secondly, it takes you as the coach completely out of the equation, and you become actually a manager, managing the lives of those who want to become something. So yeah, to me, that's a bit of coaching. If you don't understand it, stay away from coaching, because you are actually gonna steal the opportunities of other people that is so important for your future.
Okay, thanks for that, Coach. And I want to get back to the high performance coaching, because I know you're presenting courses all around South Africa. You had 2 in Cape Town end of November and at the beginning of the year, where you try and educate coaches on high performance sport. And I think high performance sport starts with the mindset that we need, but it's also important you need to educate in order to change people's mindsets. So can you tell us a little bit more of these courses that you present?
Yeah, one of the foundations of the courses is the fact that the attitude of the coach is very, very, very important. The attitude of the coach must become like he's the servant of the team. He is there to serve the purpose for everybody else. When the Spring people didn't understand it, I think they do understand it now, that your assistant coaches, they become technically so strong that you allow them to do the technical job. They have to work within your perimeter, but you leave them to go do and establish their own footprint onto the team. So the attitude is very, very important. And if you understand the attitude of the coach, then you can understand the attitude of the players. A lot of the players are there, or all the players are there because of different inspiration in their lives. Some are there because people told them how great they can be, how great they are, and they don't understand how they work from one area to another by doing these things. So you need to have the attitude of somebody who wants to be a servant, and that is very, very tricky to understand that. The second thing that's very, very important, if you understand that the mind of the people, or your brain, has 8 different types of people who listen to one message. If you understand that, then your message that you give to the players, that message is so important for them, so that they can work in that environment around other people to make them better than what they are. If they understand that, then you will have players who are afraid of coming to your practices because they don't want to mess it up. They're afraid of where the team can be. They want to be perfect at practices, because that is where they will know if they can go out and go try the things on the field. It's a big circle where the little dot in the middle, we call the X, will control that big circle. And if you don't find the X in the circle won't run freely on all its gears, you know. So high performance coaching is something that a lot of people don't understand it. Then they bring sports psychologists into the game, and sports psychologist is actually good. But I have a notion, if anybody goes to a psychologist, then he's sick. And if you work with sick players, you can't have a healthy system. Right? So yeah, there's a fine line. So we need to upskill our coaches first to work with those guys. What the sports psychologists also do, they give you a report on your players. So the coach is working with reports and not with players. And when you work with a report, you don't have a feeling. And if there's no feeling, there's no heart. And if there's no heart, there's no love. And if there's no love, there's no progress. And that is what it's all about for me.
Thanks for that, Coach. The next couple of questions, we're going to go into your coaching style, and you did touch on it a bit. You spoke about being a servant leader. And so how did you change your, so you utilize a specific style at coaching the Springbok juniors, coaching specific senior teams with the Southern Spears at that time. So how did you move from your or adapt your coaching style once you stepped into the role of a Springbok coach?
Well, as a young father, I saw how clever my children were at the age of 2. They did things that actually had me in awe. Wow, this child is this clever. Yo, what can he become? And then fear overcame me. What if the wrong person works with this child and they take away all his creativity? My child's going to be a wreck. And then I decided, if anybody is good enough to play for his country, under 19, under 21, Springbok level, if he's good enough to play for his country, then all that I did have for my child at 2 is the space that I will create for them to work in, so that they can bring those unique set of inspiration that they do have into the team, into the environment. So yeah, I mean, I was a professional coach long before professionalism, because I allowed people in their own spaces to go out and do whatever they want to do. I know that under 1911, some of the coaches, some of the players who came from school and from provincial teams didn't like it or didn't understand the style, because there the coach tell them that you do this, this is what I want. I only said to them, listen to me, this is the framework. In that frame, you can go out and do whatever you want to do, as long as you secure the ball and don't lose it and give it away cheap. So yeah, those were something that was part of my life. I think God took me through ups and downs where He showed me that God psychology is 10 times better than sports psychology.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. I like because you're a Christian and you believe, you've got set Christian beliefs, and I want to take you to 2 examples. I was watching it over the weekend as well. So the one game where I want to take you to is second test against the British and Isles Lions. Your team is trailing, and there's a camera on you in the change room, and you tell the players you're not honest enough. You're not honest with yourself. What is that about? Was that part of your team culture? Why was that the word honesty so significant for you in that team talk?
A lot of says players that you must stick to the basics of the game, and they don't coach the basic game, because what is the basics of the game?
We lost you there a bit, Coach.
Struggle to
Coach Peter, can you just start over, because we lost you there?
Okay. What what a lot of coaches do, they tell players, stick to the basics of the game without coaching the basics of the game, because you need to coach the basics of the game. And what is the basics of the game? I don't understand what the basics of the game is at this moment, because basics to me is what you as a coach instill into your team, what you instill into your environment as a basic. I had one basic in the Springbok side, and that is that we're gonna be honest with each other. We're gonna be honest with each other, and they all loved it. And when I actually broke it down and said, being honest for you will differ from being honest from my side, because if you off form and you're not getting back to what we decide to play, I must be honest enough to drop you. So they lived in that fear that if I'm going to be honest and drop them, then they have to be at their best all the time. So what they did in that test, because of the first test, I think they just went through the motions. They didn't bring to the game what we decided as a group that they will bring. And to me, that was dishonest. If you don't make your tackles properly, if you lose balls in contact, if you don't create enough opportunities for, then you're dishonest in doing what we decided that we will go do. And that was that is honesty. Can go so wide. I mean, if somebody come late, he's dishonest. If somebody doesn't do what we decided to do, he's dishonest. So it can be off the field, on the field. And they were a bunch of dishonest guys in that first half, because they waited for opportunities to come to there and they didn't create anything. My biggest challenge that I had with the team is that the Springboks never wanted to lose. So they did everything not to lose. And I couldn't live with that, because we did nothing to win. We just didn't want to lose. And I wanted to create an environment and a new culture of, come on guys, we will do everything in our power to go win. And it was tough. It was really, really tough. Even a guy like Joel Stransky, a reporter on Supersport, never understood that, because he was also brought up in an environment where we don't want to lose. And you could see they did everything not to lose, you know. So to change that mindset from do everything not to lose to do everything not to go win out there was very, very tough for the team. And through that honesty, we could interface those things very, very slowly. And when the Lions came, I think we were actually right there, up there, to believe in our own systems, you know.
Okay, so I want to link onto that. So you spoke about culture now, and honesty became part of your culture. And I've got a question. I received a question from someone, and he spoke about, when choosing a team, in your opinion, would you choose a team on talent or team culture? Meaning, would you choose a player regardless of talent, but would fit it in with your team dynamics and culture, or would you just come down to his talent? So how would you select a specific team?
You know, that is a whole topic and discussion on its own. Team selection will differ from the spine of the team, your best creators in the best roles and responsibilities for the team, to your left brain player, complemented by your right brain player in two positions like the inside and outside center, and a 4 and 5 lock and a left and a right wing. You need to have those kind of things. And if you don't have those kind of composition right, there won't be synergy in your team. Talent is something that I am cautious to use when it comes to Springbok rugby, because talent is a sell by date. Talent is just there. For me, it's something that you can't work with and make it better, because it's there, it's God given. But if you go on potential is always there to be nurtured and to be bettered. And if you can marry talent with potential, you can have a very, very good player. If you look at Richie McCaw, I think was a very talented player, but his potential to rise to heights where nobody else has been before made him an outstanding player. And we do have those kind of players in our country, but sometimes they're not big enough or something, and we miss the boat of getting the best team onto the field. Most of the times we have the best players on the field, and I can't find anything wrong with the players who are playing for our country. But what I sometimes sit and wonder, do we have the best team on the field? And sometimes that is lacking in team selection. That we're not selecting people who enhances the other one's potential, make it better, and give him the best opportunity to become the best that he can be. So selection is a discussion on its own. You go and people look at the lock must be big, the scrum must be small. Those kind of things do have a place in the game. But what is needed is, what do I need to go execute on the day and be better than the team that we're playing against? If I do have those kind of things intact. If you look at John Smith and you look at Bismarck du Plessis, I never chose John ahead of Bismarck, or I never chose Bismarck ahead of John. I sat down and look at, what do I need to go and beat the All Blacks? What do I need to go and beat Wales? What do I need and go beat the teams that we're playing against? And then I look at what attributes I want, and then I put that down. And the guy who gives me the best attributes to that position, those are the guy who will play. He's the one who will play. And afterwards, I do add a name. But what coaches tend to do is they sit with names, and then they can't drop somebody because of a name. And that doesn't goes well off with me. I add the name last, and I do select what attributes and what the guy can offer and what we want. Another thing that you need to understand, who you're playing against, who don't you want to play against? The player in your team that you can select that you don't want to play against, that the guy is actually the one that you want in your team, because he instills fear already in 3 or 4 players of the opposition, you know. So yeah, selecting a team is not black and white to me. There's a lot of attributes that you need to add to it, and look at what you need on the day, and then you take it from there.
Okay, Coach, thanks for that. And I want to link on to, so here's a question from Warren that's currently coaching in the US. So he asked, so he wants to expand on you spoke about earlier that you don't see or you don't utilize sports psychologists. And his question and statement is, don't you think it will give you a better rounded off player if you combine that with your brain profiling as well?
If you understand the brain profile, as the coach, and you don't understand your brain profile as a coach, you can bring anybody else into the team. I can tell you today, players only listen to the one who selects them, the one who picks the team. They don't listen to the assistant coaches, the physio, the doctor. They only listen to the doctor when the coach says, listen here, you will go see the doctor, you will do this. So the role of, and I'm not playing down the roles of those kind of people. What I'm saying is that slowly they replace the authority that the coach have over the player, because you must understand what players are. Players are loyal. They're very loyal only to the coach that's there. They're not loyal to you when you're gone. So if they in their free time and they're a friend of that psychologist, the coach will get a good report from the psychologist. And the coach won't understand really what the player is going through. So maybe the coach needs a psychologist more than the players in a lot of instances, because they are using the players to make them a better coach. Yes, I understand. Coaches don't make players. Players do make coaches. And that is why you need to understand them to get the best out of them in all the situations and circumstances you create. Even if your player goes shopping, if he doesn't go shopping, talking about the Springboks now, if he doesn't shop like a Springbok, he can't play like a Springbok. If he doesn't eat like a Springbok, if he doesn't behave in church like a Springbok, he can't play like a Springbok. And I'm telling you now, players get so attached to psychologists' input that they start believing in a psychologist. And on a Saturday when a psychologist isn't there, they look for him. I rather sit down and take my time, and I rather create in him a mechanism where he can find and dig deep to be the best that he can be. Our environment in South Africa during our schooling at this stage is not the best development environment for the brain. So you need to understand as a coach how you can bridge the shortcomings and make him a good player in 3 months that you work with him, so that he can become for 7 years one of your stalwarts.
Okay, thanks for that response. I think that employing a sports psychologist, also there's been a lot of people that's seen the benefits, but I think it also needs to fit your profile as a coach, and it needs to add value to you as a coach and how you apply. So I think there, you mentioned earlier, you're not saying that you shouldn't appoint one, but I think there's lots of coaches that use that to their benefit, which is great, not bad. But I think there's a clear message that you as a coach needs to know your players, and you actually fulfill that role of the psychologist, which makes it easier. And I want to get back to culture, coach. Now, there's a specific question from Coach Links. He spoke about team dynamics, and so he asked, how did you manage to include the so-called stars when you started coaching to fit into the dynamics and goals of the team goals?
Yeah, we're using words that's so above my intellect. Stars. I don't know what stars means. If you understand the norms of where you are, or the norms of where they should be nationally, the norms that where they should be internationally, then you will know what they have to do. Everybody who can't do and fit into that and take the team to the norms and the standards that you are setting for the team, everybody who doesn't fit in that is not part of the team. So first game, 100th game, everybody's a star to me. If this is what we expect of him, and I don't give specific roles, you will run the ball, you will clean, we put out and say, when you in this situation, there's 5 or 6 things that will run through your mind. Then I train the 5, 3, 6 so that they understand which one to take quickly, because it's a matter of split seconds that they do have to make a decision. Now, sometimes people can't do that. That is where they die with the ball. That is where they should have passed and they can't, because nobody knows how to run into space. Nobody knows how to run into support. Nobody knows how to run to the gaps. So if we start training those little things, you train the player, make the player more dynamic in decision making, which you need for 80 minutes. Because if I make the right decision, on the field, in that instance, in that second, I will put 4 or 5 other players in a better position, because the ball will be secured. It will get to us, and we can then set up something else to play. But if we make one wrong decision, then and then you can't be a star. You're not a star because you kicked over a goal against the Lions and made us win the series against the Lions. That doesn't make you a star in my mind. What makes you a star in my mind, if you can take the full responsibility for where you are at that stage to make a decision to let somebody else be in a better position, or so that we can go score points. And that is the only reason why you're there. Some of the under 19 boys came to me and they asked, Coach, how do you want me to play? And my simple response was, take the damn ball and score tries. That's the only thing we're here for. It's not that easy. And that is why you need to have people to understand, if I'm here now and we need to be there, I want somebody else to be there so that I can be in that other position. And if they don't work that out for themselves quick, the stars in the team, at the end of the game, their heads will hang because they're all shooting stars.
Yeah. Okay, Coach, thanks for that. I just want to add on to that question, and I want to park with that question is, how did you, because you took over a team that just won the World Cup, so most of that squad stayed behind. So how did you integrate that group of players into the new players that came in? So how did you get them to buy into your system, buy into your team culture that you wanted to create? And you spoke earlier about your coaching style, that you're a servant type of coach, you want to serve people. So how did that dynamics work?
Yeah, easy, very easy. What made the team great in 2007? What made them great? Not the individuals in the team. There was only one thing that made the team great. It was lineouts. Everybody believed in lineouts. If there's a lineout in the last minute of the game and they need points, they believe they can still win that game because of the lineout. So I never changed the lineouts. I kept the lineouts because that was the platform of a successful team. So if ever I want to change anything, change everything around the lineouts, but don't change the lineouts, okay? It wasn't easy because my assistant coach came with his own ideas that he wants this lineout and next, but I just thought the lineouts is going to make them feel at home in the environment that I'm taking over. So I kept the lineouts. I kept the control, and I gave it back to a Victor and to those kind of guys, and everybody was comfortable around it. So the new guys who came in with new ideas, I implemented new ideas everywhere except in the lineouts. Only in 2009, we started to change the lineouts a bit so that people don't pick it up easy. Only calls we changed and the sequences we changed, but we kept that platform together. Whenever there was a ruck, we regarded the ruck as a lineout, so everybody felt comfortable into a lineout. So the platform remained the same. The one thing you need to understand, although Peter de Villiers became the Springbok coach, it wasn't Peter de Villiers' team. It was South African rugby team only being coached. And I regarded me as a caretaker of that team. I had to take care of the team so that the country can benefit from it, not me. I am only there a minister or the president or whatever you want to say, the CEO of the team. And it worked for us because if I had my own ideas, I came from a background where we attacked space from anywhere. We ran the ball. Our skill level was so high. We had one principle. I know you're going to tackle me, but first catch me. And that is not what the Springboks were made of. So to bring that into the team, is to even if the old players were there, it would have been foreign for them, and none of them will be equipped to go be as good and make the country proud. Because wherever you go into the world, if Springbok rugby is at its best, people respect you, and that was easy for me because I understood my brain, I understood environments, how to build a company around players, and that is why it's so important. If you work with a team for 3 days, you can make them a team in 3 days. You don't need 10 years to make them a team. But when you go into a tournament, then you need a long time so that everybody can understand the systems going and all those kind of stuff. So yeah, new, old, if you come into the team, I the one who brought you into the team. I saw some attributes in you. I saw that you can make a difference in the team, and I want you to bring that difference into the team. I don't bring you in and tell you, now you do what I tell you to do, because then why didn't I do it? And I couldn't. They could. So the players to me was very, very important. Their input was very, very important. I had to make the last call, which I did most of the times, because I will take the flick if it doesn't work. But you need to listen to your players because they have great, great ideas. And then again, high performance coaching will teach you those things where players, when they were still very young, where people did put them off to do something. Now they play with the Springboks and they're still afraid to make their own decisions because of what happened 20 years ago in their lives, And those are the things that you need as a coach to pick up very, very quick. And to the young coaches out there, I want to say you can't come to the field if your players are on the field already. You need to be there before them, because the way they approach the field will show you in what kind of mindset they are. And it is up to you to understand that before you start with your coaching. Otherwise your coaching is going to be a flop. Please understand this as a young coach. You are not the most important person. You are one of the team. A lot of coaches say there is no I in team, and I agree with them. There is no I in team, but damn, there's I in win, and that I is in the center, and that is why we have a team, because we want to win. So don't let little things put you off to become the best that you can be by trying to change somebody who God made in the way that He wanted to use so that you can be great if you accept it.
Okay, thanks, Coach. A lot of insight there and also good advice for young coaches. And I want to add on to the topic of culture. And then Philip, Philip from Darling. We visited them earlier this year. So he asked about how did you deal with different cultures, because South Africa is quite unique compared to other countries. We're made of people from different backgrounds, and sometimes if you don't understand the South African dynamic, it's difficult to manage that. So how did you deal with the different backgrounds and different cultures that people came from and come from different languages? How did you deal with that?
Yeah, you make it simple. I did handle that thing already, but I'm gonna say it again. You make it simple. My culture of my team was honesty. You must just be honest. So if you're black and you're not honest, if you're white, you're not honest. If you whatever, you're not honest. You're not honest. So you're not bringing in religion. You're not bringing in different ethnic groups. You only bring one thing in the team, and you build the team around that one thing. Anybody who doesn't fit into that one thing is not part of the culture of the team, and that becomes your culture because everybody bought into it. They understand it, and as I say, that becomes your principles of your team, and everybody know how to stick to it. So we are looking for high and mighty ways of doing things. No, the simplest way. This game is a very simple thing. This game is a very simple thing. The same way you attack is the same way you defend. There's no difference. The reason why we struggle so much on defense in this country is because we don't know how to attack. That's why we struggle on defense. And then we go and we follow New Zealand and all those kind of countries, and we go to league defense, but we don't understand league attack. So you can't coach something that you don't know, that you didn't grow up with. We can copy as much as we want. And again, I want to bring this little saying in. If you want to be like somebody else, you're going to be so good in copying that person that people will say, wow, you are just like, but you will never be able to be you again. And if you can't be you, you can't coach.
Okay, thanks, coach. And we want to get back to the human aspect of coaching. And you spoke, and there's a lot of evidence that you really cared for your player. And I want to take you to two examples. You send John Smith back from a tour, a training camp in Namibia on a tour. You send him back due to a family crisis. You did the same with Bakkies Botha when he took over. Why is that so important for you? Why is it important for you to care for your players?
Players never grow up. Players never grow up. Players only listen to one person. When they're in the team, they listen to the coach. When the coach is not there, they do their own thing. That's why coaches always say, they don't play the way we coach them. It's because you didn't surround them with the environment that give them the responsibilities to be the best that they could be. Outside coaching, the player is a human being. And men, all men only listen to their wives. So if you can get the wife behind you, you will get the player when he goes home and say bad things about you. The wife will tell him, don't talk nonsense. He's a good guy. He sent you home when your boy was sick. So to me, it's so important that you understand what is the things that made him the husband, the father, what makes him feel good about himself, to be there when his boy is sick, to be there for his wife, to be there. If you can find that fine line, then I'm telling you now, you won't lose the human touch, and there's nothing bigger. There's nothing bigger than the human mind. If a guy is on your practice field and his mind is at home where his sick child is, he might as well never be on the practice field. Send him to where his mind is, bring him back, and you will have 100% person who believes in all the systems and will make it work for you. And he will stand up for the team, because the team is the most important thing. So yeah, it's very, very important. Rugby is not a game. Rugby is a lifestyle. And everybody part and important in the life of the player should be part of the team.
Okay, and we want to add on to, and Warren have asked a question is, so, and I want to link that onto, so what are you doing at the moment, firstly, to improve yourself as a coach and to assist you with unpacking and assisting the human being first, and also link on to other question is, who are you looking for advice for people to assist you, to stimulate you? So now it's a packed question. So first thing is, what do you do to assist you with to unpack the human being, to understand them better? Secondly, who do you use to collaborate with? Who is a soundboard for you? Because I think a lot of coaches nowadays use mentors. So who's a soundboard for you?
Warren, here's my soundboard, brother. Everything is in here. There's nothing that you do have as a person that's not in that Bible. That is my soundboard. I'm telling you today. You go with every problem. At this stage, since 2011, the South African people, I don't know what kind of illness I do have, but I'm not permitted to mingle with anybody in this country, rugby-wise. The unions were told to stay away from me, but behind the scenes, everybody calls me for some things. I sit down at this moment and at this stage, and I work out. I work out the little inches. So whenever I get the opportunity again, I will understand the little inches that can make the team and the player a better team and a better player. I work out the mind and I try to understand, why do some people stutter? Why do some people talk? Why do some people do? And all those kind of things. And then you need to find out who are those people in your team. Because you need stuttering at times, because if a guy comes for a tackle 100 kilometers per hour and you don't stutter, they can write you off. So you need those little small things in the game of rugby. You look at why aren't we playing now, and then you look outside in your garden, you see how the flowers are growing freely, which you had to work so hard in the past. And then you understand, wow, sometimes people do need this rest. I needed myself to revitalize myself, to get myself back into tune again, um, to find that excitement again just for life. And at this stage, Warren, anybody who wants my advice, if people don't want to learn anything from me, it doesn't make me stupid. I know what I know. So if people don't want to learn from me, I remain what I am, and I do have all this knowledge. But the sad thing for me is, I don't want to go die with this knowledge, because this knowledge to me doesn't mean a thing. But y'all, it does mean a lot for those players there who still have those dreams to become something. So if people don't need it and they can go on with their own ways, it's fine, because it's not the only way to do it. But if they do need it, they know where I am, and I'm more than willing to assist anybody who wants to be better and who wants to learn. And I always say, if I can leave something with you and you can add to it, you will become 10 times better than what I were in my life. So yeah, I'm a very positive person. Um, nothing can bring me down. Those people who prayed for me to be dead by now, you can see it fell on dead ears. I'm still alive and kicking, and I still be here. And I'm telling you, I will live until I die. And I'm very, very joyful.
Thanks for that part, Coach. You spoke about being a positive people. There's a comment that I prefer, and I like to apply it in my life as well. That you're stating even the bad times are good, and I think that just shows your positivity. So we've got a couple of questions left, and I'm going to ask link that question to the human being. So Herman asked, how do you link? How do you leadership skills? How you develop leadership skills within your team? So you can refer to maybe what do you look for in a captain? How do you instill leadership in the team, and that whole process regarding leadership?
I'm so glad he asked that question. There's a very, very big difference between captaincy and leadership. Captaincy is a different skill. You do have it or you don't have it. Leadership is something that you can teach a guy to play a certain role for the benefit of the team, but for his own benefit too. And that is very, very, very important. That your captain do understand, firstly, I am part of this team. I'm only one of this team. Every decision that I do make, I make for this team. While your leaders will stand up and say, the decision that we are taking now for the team is the best that the team needs to go from one scrum to the next tackle, and from the tackle there. So your synergy between your leaders must be so developed that when the leadership skill of a one person goes over to the responsibility of a next to make the next decision, that that the one who just were in control 2 seconds ago will be the follower. And being that best follower is one of the best leadership skills that anybody can have at that moment for the team. So those are the things you develop around the team. You need to make them understand that that the biggest part of communication, the biggest part, the most important part of communication is listening. And if you can't listen, you can't communicate.
Yeah. Coach, just so I want to go back to selection, and there's two questions that I want to link to this. And Saul asked a question that you made a statement earlier that players listen to a specific coach because he select them. So he asked, shouldn't you create a culture where all the coaches buy into so that they can listen to all the coaches and all the coaches have input within the team? So with that, so keep that in mind. So that's one part of the question, the whole selection process, and how do you change the mindset of players and involving assistant coaches. And then also Ismail asked a question linked to, because there's a lot of data available in modern sport, in professional sports. So you get GPS data, you get video data, analysis data. How do you select a team? So the first part is how do you create that culture where assistant coaches also buy in and players would listen to them as well. And the second part is how do you select a team based on all the information that you have available?
All right. Yeah, players, you know what, your whole management team will determine your success. There's two very important people in a management team. The first one is your manager. He's very, very important because he can create an environment where everybody's happy. And the second one is your medical team, your doctor, your physio. They can create the environment where everybody is available. So those two are very, very important. But because those two doesn't have responsibilities outside the team, they become part of the team and they try to be in favor of some players, and they can actually cause you a lot of trouble. Then your assistant coaches wants your job. The assistant coaches isn't there to help you, they want your job. So behind your back, they will go and say things to the players, and there can also be created camps. We saw it in the Stormers a few years back, and we saw it at other teams where the assistant coaches become so important, or they want to show that it's because of them that where the team are now. If you can't have people around you who's working to that same goal, and that is why you will be very, very lonely in the team environment, because at a certain stage you will become the enemy of all of them. What I did with my team is I became enemy number one to them. So all of them want to show me how good they are. And if you become enemy number one, then you know there's a united front in front of you. So you need, to a certain extent, break down in a very ordinary way authority of the other people who can cause that unity in your team without breaking it down. You need to keep your finger on the pulse, and you need to have the authority and keep that authority. Everybody has the ability. I do have the ability now to go break into a bank. But if they catch me, they will lock me up because I don't have the authority. But while I'm the coach, I have the authority, and I won't give that authority to anybody. And what I need to do to be successful, I will do, even if it means that I will be broke down by the media or broke down by public opinion or broke down. If that will help me to make the team successful, I will take it on and I will go through it. So if your assistant coaches don't buy into what you want, and if they don't report to you and sit down with you on how they're going to do a thing, they will actually come and they will work behind your back. Players will know it and you will lose your authority. So if you want to keep your authority, the players need to understand you're the one who selects the team. That's number one. Number two, data. There's a saying, analysis for paralysis. If you are too technical, you can lame your team and yourself. All those kind of foofies and stuff that's there, and it's great, but you must understand it's only a tool to get you where you want to be. It shouldn't become the gospel of your team. Most players, most teams want video sessions. It must be there. A video session to me is if it doesn't have a meaningful contribution on our outcome of the next game, I won't even bother to go into a video session. It doesn't help to sit down with the team and show them what they did wrong when the game is done. It's better to make video sessions of your practices to show them if you're going to make the same mistakes in the game, it's going to be to our detriment. So, yeah, please, again, it's only my way. It is not the gospel. But don't let all those kind of tools and stuff out there. There's people who are sitting, if you don't have a degree in IT, in some of this coaching environments at big clubs, you can't go coach there because you have to have an IT degree because of all the stuff that they are using. What I'm saying to you is, you know what you need to be successful. Use that, because that is the only way you will be successful. You can always add, and you can always take away. But if that is the way, if you take it away, you are putting the mat under the feet of your players, and they will be lost. So yeah, try and find a simple solution for your team. There's things a team can't go without. I mean, fitness, rugby fitness, scrumming fitness, line out running, tackling, jump up fitness. You can't go without that. You need to do those little things. But when it comes to GPS on the back, and some players don't like it, and all those kind of things, you need to educate them. Listen here, the reason why I put this on your back is to show you that your body needs a rest, or all those kind of things. It must be a tool to help you. It mustn't be the gospel.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for that, Coach. And I'm going to end off with a last question, and then we're going to have a summary at the end quickly. So Nick asked, based on your comment on attack, league attack and league defense, what is your ideal attacking philosophy or your approach to attack?
My approach to attack is simple, very, very simple. You can either coach a player how to pass, or you can coach him when to pass. If you coach him how to pass, even if he's the best passer of the ball and he doesn't know when to pass, it won't help him in the game of rugby today. So you need to make those kind of decisions. And that is exactly where we at this moment. If you teach the guy how to attack, if you teach the guy where gaps are, where the space are, who's running to the gap and who's running to the space, what shoulders should the first, second, or third runner explore? If you coach those kind of things, then attack becomes second nature. So everybody who understands those kind of attack will know where the gaps, where the space, where everything will be when they defend. So they will be in the right places when they defend. And it makes it so much easier for you. What you need to work out now as a principle of your team is what will work the best in the South African context. Sorry. What will work the best for your team's context. And then you do it. I still believe that there's so much that we can do on defense that we gave away as a South African nation. We gave it away. We're not exploring it anymore. We're not using it anymore. And that is why teams who are fitter and can play for 80 minutes explore the last 20 or 10 minutes against us, because we never used what made us so great against those teams. And I still believe at defense with systems in place, because that is where the game has grown. With systems in place, you need to put a principle that will be helpful for you going forward and will help you so that you can play and you can attack the last 10 minutes much more than what they do, just because of what you did during the game. So yeah, there's a lot of things that we as a nation has thrown overboard. We doesn't suit our character, our style, and we need to bring that back if we want to be the leaders of rugby again in the world.
Yes, Coach, we're close to the end. I just want to thank you for your time. I think that there's one thing that a lot of people see you giving back to rugby through your motivational speaking, to your coaching clinics that you're hosting and presenting, and something that I can motivate to people and to make use of you. You don't. What people don't take in mind is you don't charge clubs for sessions. All you ask is just assist us to get there. And I think that should be the mindset of giving back and support, especially younger coaches. So I think there's a big question on everyone's lips is what is next in line for Peter de Villiers?
Next in line, I'm going to finish this conversation. And then I am actually, because I did rest the whole day, I'm now tired of resting. So I'm going to rest now because I'm tired. So no, I don't know. Like I said, God is in control of your life. And when Joseph went into the pit, it was so dark in there. When he came out there, it was so light, but it wasn't his light. He just went through the hardship again to get to the light that was meant for him. So I don't know. I really don't know, and I don't care. I know who I am, and I don't care a damn what others think or say. I know there will be a way for me, and I know that I can make a contribution. I can help coaches to become better, so that they can actually change the lives of other people. And what we need to understand also through this witness of you is that there's different levels of coaching. If you don't understand at what level you are and what is needed at that level, it doesn't mean a thing that you're there. Winning and losing is the same. The one is just much better than the others. But if you win the race of life and the game of life, I'm telling you now today, you have won everything that God has destined for you to be there. So for all our coaches out there, for those who are tuned in, please, it's an unthankful job. People criticize you for the smallest thing, and the guy who's singing your praises today is a guy who break you down tomorrow in public. Forget about them. Forget about them. It's not the shoes that you wear that can take you to the destiny that you should be. It's how you walk with it that can take you to your destiny. And I leave you with this last thought. A picture box doesn't have any value, but let somebody just deliver a picture to your house without the box. See the big move you make. So if you can become the box who doesn't have value, but there's a pizza in, then your value will be at another level. God bless you all, and thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, Coach Peter, thanks for this. I think a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge. I want to motivate you, and I want to acknowledge you for all the great work you're doing through the Peter de Villiers Foundation with Samuel Tron with the Sport Implementation Foundation. Keep up the good work, and I think it.
And yourself, and mention Mr. Dr. Wilbur too.
Thanks for that, Coach. I think you're uplifting our communities, and you're showing us that we can use rugby as a tool to uplift communities and to change people's lives. And I think the message tonight was clear that you need to care about people, you need to know them as a human being, and then secondly as a rugby player. And I think that message went out tonight. And it's always nice chatting to you. And I told someone today that you're hosting it tonight, and I said, behind all the sense, all the humor, there's always a message. And I remember sitting in your house when you and Sam talk, and you're making a joke. There's always a lot of wisdom, and I think we should tap into that. And I think, as from a South African rugby perspective, I think you've got a lot to offer, and I think SA Rugby is making a massive mistake not to utilize you and I think you can play a massive role in coaching and a coaching education in a coach mentor capacity. But I still also believe you have a lot to on a technical and tactical level. So, Coach, thanks for your time, and have a good evening. I know it's a bit cold in Paarl, and look after yourself and stay safe, and have a blessed birthday next week. And we hope to see you in a couple. Oh, next we don't know. Maybe you'll be on in 3 weeks' time. But speaking on that, so
if I'm back in 2 weeks' time, it will be without my lockdown look.
So next week we're having something different. We're going to ask the media questions. They're normally the people that ask us questions. So next week we'll have 4 journalists, and some of them joined tonight. So we're going to pose questions to them. And then on the 2nd of June we've got David Manuel that joined us tonight as well. We're going to speak attack and your mindset around attack, and then hopefully we'll get Coach Peter back after that, and we'll decide on a topic. But everyone, thanks for joining. But before we leave, just remember Alexar Digital Solutions. If you want a 15% discount on web design, poster design, someone managing your social media, just use the code THINK or the password THINK Digital. I'll also drop it in the email. And thanks for coming out. And I know we've had people from afar. Stay safe, look after yourself, and God bless. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, bro.